Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are NC.
Last year, the month of June catapulted the Royals to their first winning season in 10 years. This June might be even better. After blowing out the White Sox yesterday, the Royals are 9-3 this month, and with James Shields on the mound, a great chance for a sweep in Chicago. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Royals have already won this series. They go for a sweep today over the Chicago White Sox. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and happy Father's Day. What would make it a perfect Father's Day here in Chicago would be a 3-game sweep over the Chicago White Sox. The Royals already have the longest winning streak right now in the major leagues at 6 in a row. They would like to make it 7 in a row today with James Shields on the mound. So as we break down the winning streak, you ask yourself, well, what has led the way for the Royals? How about everything? The Royals have also won 11 of their last 15 games. The offense has really improved, and this goes back to when Dale Swain took over with the team batting over .320, and even better than that with runners in scoring position, more power. The Royals' slugging percentage is over .500, and it's really easy to focus on the offense and forget about the pitching. The team ERA is just a shade over 2 during the winning streak. Let's welcome in Rex Hudler. And Hud, it's not just that the Royals are getting more production, but they're getting more production from the guys that they need to get production from.
You're exactly right, Rhino, once again. Ned Yost is counting on his middle of the order to at least just hit up to your average numbers. We're not looking for career years out of anyone, but the fact that the Royals are scoring runs in bunches the first 2 games of this series is a beautiful thing. 1 or 2 of these guys that go can drive the bus themselves. However, it is great to see all 4 guys produce in the same game like they did yesterday. That rarely happens in baseball, but multiple bus drivers will continue to drive this bus heading towards Detroit, where it's going to be a lot of fun. But first things first, give the rock to Big Game James.
And the Royals are 7-0 in his last 7 starts. A lot of the dads are here watching their sons in Chicago, and Joel Goldberg will talk more about Father's Day when we come back.
goes to last Father's Day. Royals in St. Petersburg beat the Tampa Bay Rays. Wade Davis was the starter that day and got the win. Greg Holland had the save, so a special day in 2013 as far as wins go. And the Royals will look for the same today here in Chicago. Joel Goldberg back at U.S. Cellular Field, and on that day, Wade Davis had his dad, Ben, there, and Greg Holland had his dad, Scott. And both of those fathers are here again, and maybe those two pitchers will wrap things up in the 8th and 9th for the Royals. It is a special one. The Royals are on a roll, and they'll try to perform here for their fathers this afternoon.
Most of the guys have their dads here this whole trip, and be able to spend the whole week with their dad, and it makes it even special here on Father's Day. So it's really neat to see the dads, the pride that they have in their sons, and see the dads that are on this team and the pride that they have in their children, and we just think it's a special day.
James Shields, a proud father, and Salvador Perez, who was raised by his mother, made it a point to tell everybody today, Happy Father's Day to all the papas. First pitch is coming up next.
Kansas City Chevy dealer. It's Chevy Truck Month. Visit your Kansas City Chevy dealers. By the Missouri Lottery. Try the Missouri Lottery's new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And a nice Father's Day crowd here today. It is a warm and windy day. It could be a dangerous day if pitchers don't keep the ball down. However, we will always root for the home runs during the Home Run Challenge. And each home run hit today is worth $15,000. And so far, $1.8 million has been raised for prostate cancer research. And you can still donate. Go to homerunchallenge.org. And the Royals batting order today presented by your Midwest Ford dealers, beginning with Gerard Dyson.
Got to have Dyson in there, especially hitting 385 on the road. I'm going to choose his name every time, especially with that good level swing he's got. Get on base and cause some havoc and rip off some bags.
Andre Rienzo. He has pitched well against the Royals, including 8 strikeouts on May the 20th. That was a career high for him, and he was riding a high at that time. He was 4-0 to begin the season. The Sox were 7-0 in his starts, but he comes into today a struggling pitcher. He is 0-3 in his last 3 with an ERA of 9, going fewer than 4 innings 2 times over that stretch.
His last quality start came May 20th against the Royals. Pretty good outing.
Tyson appears in the series for the first time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rienzo is the kind of guy you might want to wait out. 21 walks in 48 innings this year. See if they got their patience at the plate today. He's got a fastball 88 to 92. There's the curve. Occasional changeups. He's got a cutter. That's been the only pitch that he's really been able to get strike 1 with.
Beckham, long run, off balance throw, and he throws a strike over to Abreu.
Sox defense hasn't been a lot to write home to Dad about, that's for sure. They've had trouble catching the ball and throwing to the right people. Anyway, Royals don't care about that defense. They just want to continue to take advantage whenever they do miscue. That's the key.
As they did yesterday, a big error in the 4th inning led to a 5-run inning for the Royals, and 3 of those runs were unearned. Ball 1 to Omar Infante, who has gone from a 0 for 19 during the last homestand to a 5-game hitting streak. And the White Sox have brought the best out of Infante this year. 10 hits and 23 at-bats. And that includes 5 hits in the first 2 games of this series. And another base hit. So that makes him 11 for 24 against the White Sox. And he's on with 1 out.
Look up in the zone, just like Infante did. He's going to give you something good to hit.
There's the crew chief, Paul Emmel, in his 16th season as a full-time Major League umpire. He's behind the plate with Jordan Baker at first base.
Especially with Rienzo lately. That ball is very hittable. His last 2 starts, 12.86 ERA. So he's been giving it up. Just look for it. Hope you can put it in play.
Eric Hosmer has hit in 4 straight, and he has 3 hits in this series and 3 RBIs. Standing right next to a former high school teammate, Adrian Nieto. He is the White Sox backup catcher, a Rule 5 pick out of the Nationals organization, and they spent some time together in high school at American Heritage High School in Miami. One and 2.
Hosmer 3 for 7 in the 2 games here, 3 ribbies, 2 walks yesterday. That's the important thing. Ozzy needs to start hitting his pitch and not swinging at the pitchers.
Drilled to center field. What will the wind do with this? It is gone for a 2-run home run.
Happy Father's Day, Pop. Picking up right where they left off. 2 runs in the first. 1 swing of the bat. Haas's home run stroke his back. Waited for it. It hung. That's a little curveball that just hung up there saying, hit me for a homer on Father's Day over the 400-foot sign at U.S. Cellular. Big lift.
That is his 3rd home run in his last 7 games. And a strike to Billy Butler.
Oh, what a lift.
And Billy with a bullet into center field. The Royals are very aggressive with a struggling pitcher today. With one out, 3 consecutive hits, and for Billy, that's his 5th of the series.
Just what you want to do against a guy who's been scuffling. Don't let him gain any kind of confidence at all. Nieto, he's a young catcher just making his 15th start in his big league career. Pitchers have a 5 ERA pitching to him when he's behind the plate. Hitters looking up in the zone early and getting them.
All 3 games of the series, the Royals have scored first. Ball 1-2, Alex Gordon. And big innings when they score first. Friday night it was a 5-run first inning. Yesterday it was a 5-run 4th inning. Alex got jammed, and Viciedo will make the play in right field. 2 down with Butler going back to first.
Crowd here at U.S. Cellular had a big sigh of relief. You heard him when the ball was hit going, oh, not another one. But he didn't quite square it up like you said, right now. You could hear it. You could tell he didn't wood that. Get some solid wood. He just cracked it.
Anything in the air today is going to be a handful. Not just balls flying over the wall, but there will be no routine fly balls or pop-ups today. That drops in front of Adam Eaton. Salvador Perez has hit in 9 straight. Royals have Infante with a 6-game hitting streak, Hosmer with a 5-game hitting streak, Butler a 5-game hitting streak, Perez a 9-game hitting streak, and Alcides Escobar with a 12-game hitting streak.
And I'm going to tell you what, just while it's ripe, continue to pick it, because you rarely get that many guys hot in the lineup at the same time. James Shields, he's going to have him a nice lead before he even toes the slab. Ride it out as long as you can ride it, especially through the next series as well while you're at it.
Oh, 0-1 on Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo was the only Royal without a base hit yesterday, but he had an RBI and a run scored, and he's been driving him in lately. 13 RBIs in his last 12 games. At a play, 0-2.
Showed you Lorenzo's great numbers with the runners in scoring position, but the team overall now 266. That's 2nd in the American League, 4th in Major League Baseball. Amazing how quick the numbers can pick up when everybody gets hot at the same time.
There's Rienzo's best pitch, his curveball, and that's how he finishes off the Royals in the first inning. But Eric Hosmer homers to straightaway center field, and James Shields has a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. in his last 7 games gives James Shields an early 2-0 lead. He is our key starting pitcher for today. The Royals have won each of his last 7 starts. He is 4-0 during that stretch, and the Royals have given him now 38 runs of support in 7 starts and 1 inning today.
So good to see that support, but also the way these guys come to play. In this White Sox lineup today, they really counting on Eaton to get on base. He kind of is the catalyst to this ball club. Abreu. Royals have done a great job of holding that young slugger down, potential rookie of the year. So continue that today and get out of town, get on the bus, and forget about us. James be on the aggressive attack like he always is. He challenges hitters.
A strike to Adam Eaton. He was on base 5 times in game 1, just once yesterday. .259 batting average, but his on base percentage is right around .330. Oh, 2. Another foul ball. Adam Eaton as a minor leaguer, so you can put that into proper context, but he had a .456 career on base percentage in the minor leagues. Out of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization and traded to the White Sox this past offseason. And that ball kicks through Hosmer and goes all the way down into the right field corner. And Eaton can really run. And he'll end up at third base standing. In fact, round third base, but he'll hold.
He barreled it up. Haas, normally the vacuum cleaner that he is over there, found the ball a little bit too hot to handle. He was out front, but he's able to get the barrel on it. Sometimes that ball jumps when you take a nice easy swing. Looked like it came up on Haas. I'm not expecting that to be an error. However, we'll see what the official score says.
And it is a triple. Adam Eaton's 4th of the year. Ball 1 to Gordon Beckham. Beckham is hitless in this series. The Royals have really pitched him well.
A little courtesy call there. Just letting Eaton know that he's going to keep an eye on it. Nothing wrong with that. James Shields, he has good pickoff moves all around the bases.
And they do it again and have him picked off. Adam Eaton wants a balk called. And I think home plate umpire Paul Emmel did just that. Well, you rarely see a right-hand pitcher even attempt a pickoff at third. We see it all the time with a lefty to first base, and I don't know if I've ever seen a balk called on a right-hand pitcher. James Shields has to be very careful here. He is pointing to the mound.
And Ned's going to watch this one from the showers. He just got tossed. Paul Emmel, obviously home plate umpire, having a short fuse this afternoon. I guess they were saying that James Shields was coming home and didn't make a deliberate effort to throw the ball to third base, like he was coming home first. And Ned is going to get his money's worth here in the first.
You know, that might be good strategy by Ned, because right as Ned got Paul Emmel's attention before walking back to the dugout, James Shields was pointing to the mound, saying, "Look at where my foot was." And that's a no-no. That's the equivalent of a hitter trying to do the same thing at the plate, showing where a foul ball hit instead of their foot, trying to show up the umpire. That was maybe a good distraction as Ned is thrown out, but he may have saved his starting pitcher.
Yeah, it's like a hitter drawing a line with his bat. So important for James to let that go. It looks like he has. He threw a nice low strike, but you see he's pointing and Paul Immel's not looking. That's a good thing. About that time he threw out Ned. And that's a great job by Ned to distract Paul Immel away from his starter.
Third time that Ned has been ejected this year, and the 36th of his career. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Beckham. So the White Sox get a run right back on a bad hop triple and a balk.
White Sox are going to need all the luck they can get today to try to stop this train from rolling west. You see Shields rebound and get him out.
So Don Wakamatsu will take over as acting manager. Ever seen a balk on a play like that before from a right-hand pitcher?
Never a balk. I've seen plenty of pickoffs, but never a balk called. And looking at the angle that we had, you could see James Shields look to me like he was coming forward a little. It's such a fine line. You don't see those moves to third very often at all in the game.
And you can understand if third base umpire Chris Conroy missed it. He also may have crossed his legs. He may have brought his front knee past his back knee, and that's a balk for a left-hand pitcher when he's going to first base. But you could almost excuse Chris Conroy, even though it's his job to keep an eye on that. It's probably something an umpire is not prepared to look out for. Now, if he's a first base umpire with a left-hand pitcher, he's keeping his eye on that, but that caught everybody by surprise.
Umpire's job is to watch the pitcher wherever the ball is. So I think they got it right.
2-1 on Connor Gillespie.
Salvador says, I don't need the shades. Some cloud cover today.
Connor Gillespie hitting .391 against the Royals this year, and he's late on a fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Seems like every time against the Royals, you look up, he's hitting a line drive somewhere. 5 for 15 versus James Shields.
Full count. Him up, and the wind blows it out to Alex Gordon. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the Royals defense, and coincidentally we already had James Shields talking about his pickoffs. He can do it. It's a lot of pickoffs, second in Major League Baseball over that time, but this year he's got 2. He had them in 1 game against Toronto. Now the pitchers have made 13 of the Royals' 39 errors this year. You take those pitching errors away, the Royals would have a commanding lead with only 26 errors in the league. So when you see that overall number of errors, it doesn't tell the whole story about what's playing behind the pitcher.
It's already 4 more errors than the pitchers had all of last year. Jose Abreu. 1 ball, 1 strike. Abreu has yet to hurt the Royals this year. He is 2 for 17 against KC with 2 RBIs. He has punished everybody else. Shields falls behind 2 balls and 1 strike. fouled away.
James's last start against the Yankees, he went 6 strong innings and 110 pitches. Didn't give up a home run. Home runs earlier this year have plagued him a little. Righties have hit 7, left-handers have hit 5.
And that line sounds impressive, and it is. But he was in trouble in the first 4 innings. And vintage James Shields never backed down. He got out of the bases loaded and nobody out in the 2nd inning. The Yankees left 7 runners on base while Shields was on the mound, and 5 with runners in scoring position. Cracked his bat. And it's still 3 balls and 2 strikes. Strikeouts were huge for Shields on Sunday against the Yankees. He had 8 in 6 innings and in big spots.
Aces know how to get the job done when their back's against the wall. Bat Boy threw Abreu a bat, and he didn't want that one. He had another one down, sitting down further in the dugout. They threw it to him, and he ran back to the box. That's respect. Move the game along.
Line to left field. Alex to the corner. And Abreu will check in with a double. So his first extra base hit against the Royals, and it comes with nobody on base.
Had him fooled on the breaking ball. It's down. He stayed with it. Nice job. Good soft hands can help you make that swing. Bat Boy brought him that bat. He's only doing his job, and he said, "Nah, I have another one that has a double in it. Give me that one." So his buddies threw it to him, and watch how he comes to the plate. He says, "We'll get this thing going."
Ball 1 to Adam Dunn. Dunn started game 1, was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and then Robin Ventura held him and most of his left-hand bats out of the lineup yesterday against Danny Duffy.
Shields is expending more pitches than he planned in this first inning.
.29 at bats, just 5 hits and 1 home run. And a cut fastball is in for a strike. White Sox hitters with a lot of experience against Shields. Beckham 30 at bats, Dunn 29, Ramirez 45, Viciedo 22, and De Aza 24. All the wind, some dust kicking around at home plate got up in Adam Dunn's eyes. It is very, very windy. The flags here will only tell you part of the story. It will tell you how hard the wind is blowing, but once the wind gets in the ballpark, it can swirl. So those flags would tell you that the wind is blowing in, but it's not necessarily the case when the ball's in the air. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Because of the shape of this ballpark, the wind will get caught inside U.S. Cellular Field and cause a swirling effect. Remember, Chris Getz, when he was with the Royals and he had played for the White Sox, said you could take nothing for granted here. Dunn strikes out. It's a 29-pitch inning for Shields, and he gives up 1 run on the bad hop triple and the balk.
Oh, way to go.
Using hashtag KC Fan Photo for a chance to have it shown during today's game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
How about a father-daughter or father-son photo, folks? Appreciate you participating.
Royals got 2 in the first inning on Eric Hosmer's home run. White Sox got a run right back. It is 2-0 on Mike Moustakas. Royals had 4 hits in the first inning against Andre Rienzo.
Royals can lay off of his curveball in the dirt. They're going to get him. Ooh, there's a little cutter up. Make him throw a strike, maybe 2.
4-pitch walk, and that's been a big problem for the White Sox this year. They have by far the most walks of any American League pitching staff, 266, and that's 23 more than the next closest team. And now Alcides Escobar, 12-game hitting streak, and it's not just a bunch of singles. His slugging percentage is up over .630. It's the longest hitting streak of his career, 6 doubles, and now he has 19 doubles this year, and that places him in the top 10 in the league.
It's good to see him not swing at that first pitch. Typically the hitter before you walks in 4 straight. You take that next one. Take a strike. Make him throw you one.
To Beckham. And Ramirez, quick turn. And it's a double play. 4-6-3, 2 down. And so Dyson comes up with 2 down, nobody on. He opened the game with a ground ball to second base. Then Infante singled, and then Hosmer homered.
Yedu, the catcher, came out and said, "Hey, Abreu, you got to come in. This guy will bunt." Gordon Beckham, the second baseman, he's cheating in also. You have to do that if you're a second baseman. Best way to defend a guy like Dyson with his great speed is for the second baseman to cover first. Let the first baseman and pitcher try to get the ball.
One and 2 on Dyson. Lays off the breaking ball, 2-2. Mentioned Rienzo hasn't pitched in 9 days. After struggling in 3 consecutive starts, Don Cooper, White Sox pitching coach, wanted a little extra time with him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The White Sox also had a rain out, so they moved him back. A little extra work in the bullpen. An ERA of 9 in his previous 3 starts. And Dyson again pulls it on the ground to Beckham. So the leadoff walk on 4 pitches, but Rienzo gets a couple of ground balls, one of them a double play, and the Royals send just 3 to the plate in the second inning. Weekly question of the day. How many father-son duos have played for the Royals? And the key word there is played. So that would not include Fred Kendall and Jason Kendall. Fred Kendall was a coach. Or Tony Pena and Tony Pena Jr. and Francisco Peñas. The elder was a manager for the Royals. So how many father-son duos have played for the Royals? James Shields gave up 1 run in the first inning. He did throw 29 pitches, so he could use a first pitch out. And Omar Infante brings it down to get Alexei Ramirez. That's exactly what Shields gets. 1 away in the second inning. This is Shields' second start against the White Sox this year. Way back in April, he got into a duel with Chris Sale. Seems like almost every time Shields takes the mound against Chicago, Sale's on the other end. And Shields gave up 1 run in 7 innings. He took the loss. The Royals did not give him any runs. It was a 5-1 final. And now Shields is 5-5 in 18 career starts against the White Sox. 0-2 on Viciedo. One ball, 2 strikes. Viciedo has 2 hits in this series and falling into a deep slump. 4 hits in his last 46 at-bats. I think everybody's all right. Those are the kind of swings that you will see from a struggling hitter. It's not a guy reacting to pitches. That's a guy guessing, and that time Viciedo guessed wrong. Pokes it foul again. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's kind of like the swings we were seeing from catcher Tyler Flowers yesterday. As Tyler, he's in a bad little offensive funk himself. So Ventura decided to go with the rookie Nieto behind the plate.
Over the mound, Infante bare hands and gets Viciedo on a close play. Darrell Boston, first base coach of the White Sox, immediately looked into the Sox third base dugout. It doesn't appear that anybody's running to the phone to see if that call was missed.
Nice concentration by Infante. The second bounce, that ball kicked to him, so it made it a little bit easier for him. But you know, whenever you bare hand a ball that's moving that hard, you really got to concentrate on seeing it in your hand. That was close. I think he would have been out on the replay.
And now strike 2, De-Aza. De-Aza hitting just 199, but he's hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. And before that stretch, he was hitting 172. Two and 1. De-Aza spent most of last year as the White Sox leadoff hitter and the year before that. He has had back-to-back career seasons leading up to this year, but never one to walk much. The White Sox saw an opportunity to improve their leadoff spot, just like the Royals did during the offseason, and that's when they make the trade. The White Sox did for Adam Eaton. Robin Ventura also got a brand new cleanup hitter this year in Jose Abreu. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. I remember when the White Sox won the World Series in 2005. They They were just a slugging team, hit a lot of home runs, didn't win a lot of games. Good bullpen, decent starting pitching, but they went and got speed during that offseason. They got Scott Posednik, who played for the Royals, from the Brewers, and Tadahito Iguchi from Japan. They became more athletic, and they won the series. Much cleaner, much quicker inning for James Shields as the White Sox go down 1-2-3 in the second. And a fan favorite is coming up at Kauffman Stadium. It's a week from today. It is Bark at the Park. The Mariners are in town, and for just $35, you get a ticket for both you and your dog, a Royals dog bandana, a pregame on-field parade, and a donation will be made to Wayside Waifs Animal Shelter. In order to attend, you must register beforehand, so go to Royals.com/bark and bring your dog out to Kauffman Stadium. Omar Infante singled first time up right in front of Eric Hosmer's home run. Infante is 6 for 11 in this series with 4 runs scored. We showed you at the top of the broadcast that the Royals are thriving in every facet of the game during this winning streak. And if you want to add another category, it is scoring first. The Royals have scored first in 7 consecutive games now. Adam Eaton in center field waits and grabs it for the out.
Hosmer's first at bat of the day here was a beauty. First couple of pitches were breaking balls down, and he was able to gauge it. He saw it. That one stayed up. He said, you know what, if he can leave that up for me, I can catch the back underside of the ball. Get some backspin on it, and hit his 3rd home run. Excuse me. His 4th home run he's got. Keep them coming. They got to have those. You were talking about Donnie Cooper working with Rienzo last inning, Ryan, and I got a chance to talk to Donnie. When I heard that his starter had not pitched a game in 9 days, I wondered about that. Of course, one of those was a rainout that he had. But I said, what did you work on him with? He said more mental than physical stuff. He tries to dwell on the positive things, Donnie Cooper said. Donnie's in his 12th year, by the way, as the pitching coach here at the White Sox. 24th year in the organization. They love him. He said, I accentuate the positive. He's got a good curveball and a good cutter. You work on those. Keep accentuating the positive. Let the negative things trying to go. You don't want to put those in a guy's head when he's struggling. Stay with a positive, and hopefully he can get strike 1. And if he can go 6 innings for us today, That'll be a bonus. That's all they're looking for Rienzo to do. Just hang in this game long enough to give their pen a little bit of a rest. However, they have an off day tomorrow, so they're not too concerned. Cooper said all their guys are available.
Six innings wouldn't just be a bonus. That would be above and beyond for Rienzo. He's only averaging just a little over 5 innings per start. And we mentioned earlier in his last 3, twice he didn't get through the 4th inning. Gillespie at third throws out Hosmer. 2 down in the 3rd inning.
Talked about the wind. It's really blowing hard. Looks like maybe 25 miles an hour today.
Blowing papers around, napkins around, and blowing the cameras around. Here's Billy Butler, and your Kansas City Honda dealers bring you the MTP of the game, the most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
Ned Yost extremely to see that home run he hit yesterday. Woo! Long drought in between homers from Billy. May 2nd was his last time he left the dance hall. Opposite field blast on a ball on the outer half, and it should have been hit that way, but he got up underneath it.
1-1. Billy has 5 hits in the 3 games here. He's hit in 5 straight games. And with an RBI today, he would have an RBI in 5 straight games. Down, and that ball got away from him, and Billy is on with 2 outs.
It's a breaking ball. See the spin on it. First time this year Billy's been plunked. Could have been a mistake, depending on what happens to Alex here. Alex could put him in the seats as well.
Had a pretty good swing his first time up. Good trajectory, right pitch, just didn't square it up and fly it out to right field. 1 ball, 1 strike. That big sweeping curveball, and it's 1-2. Alex has had a very good 3.5, 4 weeks, and he's doing everything. He's hitting for power, he's getting on base. His OPS in his last 24 games is over 1,000. And playing his typical Gold Glove defense.
Focused, he's dedicated, and hasn't been as aggressive. Ooh, Rienzo wanted that.
He was on his way to the dugout.
He was. And Alex might have gotten a gift there because that caught the inside part of the plate. But Paul Emmel said it was off. Do it again.
So Billy takes off, and Rienzo showing some emotion, and now you got a Rule 5 catcher who's going to have the task of trying to calm him down. And Rienzo, after throwing ball 4, that looked like that was directed right at Paul Elmo, but he was just staring down Rienzo. He saw that. A veteran umpire doesn't miss something like that, but Rienzo, after ball 4, he pumped his fist in frustration, and that was directed right at Paul. Now everybody together now. Emil. Producer Joe Livero giving me an out there and saying that probably has something to do with all of the Elmo watching I've been doing with three young boys.
Sure it is.
Rienzo just took the rosin bag and threw it to the dirt behind home plate. And that's enough for Don Cooper to come out. And you were talking earlier this inning, Hud, that the adjustments, the work that Don Cooper has done with Rienzo this past week have been more mental than physical.
So he's going to get a little tongue lashing by Coops. And speaking of Elmo, there he is. There's an Elmo, a balloon Elmo. Cooper saying, look, you've gotten us halfway almost. We need to get you 6 innings. So hang in there and don't lose your cool. Please.
And now 2-0 on Sal. So this started with 2 outs and nobody on. Billy hit by a pitch. Alex walked. And now Sal ahead 2-0. He singled in the first inning and has hit in 9 straight games. 2-1.
Sal made him throw a strike. He dropped that little breaking ball right in the heart of the plate where Salvi's looking.
Pulled to left field. Back goes De Aza. It is gone for a 3-run home run. And now Rienzo is boiling mad. Royals have a 5-1 lead in the 3rd inning. All runs coming on home runs today. Hosmer in the 1st and Salvador Perez with his 7th here in the 3rd.
Ooh, was that sweet. Rienzo has no one to blame but himself. He hit Billy Butler. I thought that was the first mistake. And that was not a mistake pitch. That's just a great piece of hitting. Salvador Perez, he picked up that ball that was down, got some backspin on it, and put it for a souvenir here at U.S. Cellular Field for his 7th big fly. 23 RBIs now.
Ball one inside to Lorenzo Cain. It is his 6th career home run here, and that's the most for him in any road ballpark. Now Rienzo going back to the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. That pitch right there, a curveball, is what struck out Cain in the 1st inning. Big innings for the Royals in this series. 5-run first on Friday, a 5-run 4th yesterday, and 3 runs in the 3rd inning today. If the definition of a big inning is still 3 runs or more. 2-2.
Rienzo, not very confident at all. Here, Paul Emmel's going to have a little chat with him here, but this swing here was really nice. Look at the stiff front side. Great balance. Picks that ball up off the ground. Oh, a lot of guys are going to roll that over to the 3rd baseman, but when you have that natural lift, as strong as Salvi is, 3-run bomb will help. Nice.
That was the 30th pitch of the inning. And 3-2 on Cain. 61 pitches already for Rienzo. And we'll do it again.
You can just tell the body language of Rienzo. It's emotional. Didn't get his strikeout that he wanted on Gordon, which really, we saw the pitch tracks. It said it was off the plate inside. It really wasn't. And then he threw a big curve way out of the box. Just not very confident.
Cain has struck out twice. Rienzo finally gets out of the 3rd inning. And he's still chirping at the home plate umpire. Salvador Perez makes him pay. his 7th home run of the year, and the Royals lead by 4.
Bond with each other's dad, and I think it's really helping us, and I think it's no coincidence that we've played the way we have since we've started this trip, because we're playing, we're really enjoying ourselves and getting to spend time with our dads.
Comments there on this Father's Day from a dad, Billy Butler, and we're joined by Billy's dad, J.D. Butler, and great comments there as Billy saying, hey, maybe it's no coincidence that we play well when the dads are around, but he did go on, J.D., to tell me that while we'd like to keep them around a long time if it leads to winning, the wives may not be too thrilled with that.
Yeah, and I told Ned earlier he might as well take Billy out. He never hits when I'm in town. So I said, you might as well take him out. But, he's got a single. I think he bailed himself out with a hit by pitch.
Interesting that you mentioned that, because you got here late and then you'll be here the rest of the series. And we will hang this on you if he doesn't hit in Detroit, because he always hits well in Detroit. And coincidence or not, he homered yesterday. Where were you?
Yeah, I was actually driving from his place. Katie had me over there working, doing honeydew lists. And I was listening to it on 610. So I missed that one, but we won't tell him that.
No, that's okay. Well, happy Father's Day, and we have had the chance to get to know you over the years, with Billy and Alex being the longest tenured Royals here on this roster. But how much do you enjoy this chance to be around the guys, the players, and your son?
Yeah, a lot. Before that, I want to wish you guys a happy Father's Day. I was talking to the guys in the booth earlier. Just want to shout out to you. You guys do a great job. You keep the game real. It's been really fun listening. The thing that I think I appreciate the most is that you guys realize that these are someone's sons out here playing, and I think that whole environment, sports needs that. And, it's really good to listen to you guys. You take real good care of the team, and I know you gave your families up to be out here, so appreciate that. And, yeah, we were talking earlier. It seems like almost 8 seasons now. We watch these kids grow up. We really have.
Well, it's amazing to us, and thanks for the kind words. But it's amazing to us to see guys like Billy, who came in here at such a young age, and he's one of the veterans on this team now. And you made a face on that. It scares me as much more. More it scares you, I'm sure. But he's been doing this a long time. The highs, the lows, a lot of highs, some lows this year. But yet he's grinding through it too. And I'm wondering what it's like for a dad when you see those highs and lows.
Yeah, I was watching Mr. Duffy's interview yesterday. When the young kids are like that, it seems like you live and die with everything they do. And as they get older and you've been around the game, you realize that these things are going to happen. And, oh, by the way, being a diehard Carolina guy, we're going to get even with Mr. Duffy for those Duke comments. I think Billy and I, good father-son thing, we're going to throw his luggage out of the airplane or something on the way to Detroit. But, but it was really great to watch his emotions with the young guys. And then, of course, for Billy, yeah, it's a little slow start, but the game's got that waiting for you if you play it long enough. You're going to have to learn to live through it.
For those not watching yesterday, Dan Duffy, Danny's father, was saying that one of the great trips his son provided for him was to go to the Dean Dome and watch North Carolina and Duke Won on a buzzer beater, and he's a big Duke fan. The Butlers are very big North Carolina Tar Heel fans when it comes to basketball. So that'd be a great trip, the Duffys and the Butlers, to do one of those. But how about for Billy? We've always heard that he was born to hit. At what age did you start seeing that?
It's really, I think, when they start doing it around 14 or 15, because the pitchers get a little better, the game changes by the time you get to the bigger mound. You can kind of get a feel. But I think mental makeup with Billy was evident about 14 or 15. He always had a really great approach. I think there's a lot of great hitters, but the only ones that hang around are the ones that can take the mental approach. And that's why I never really got concerned when he started a little slow. He's got the mental makeup to be a good hitter.
And at what age did he have a bat in his hand?
We drove by the park when he was 5 years old. They had one of those big signs up that said T-ball sign-ups. He was in a booster seat in my pickup. And I said, hey, dude, you want to give that a try? And we stopped and signed up, and we've been at the ballpark every day since then. And blessed, I'm a very fortunate man. He's the best son you could ever imagine.
And 13 years after that, he was signing really on the spot with the Royals. And now all these years later, he's been an all-star. He's been the DH. He's in the middle of this lineup, and we're starting to see some good things from him, and we're seeing some good things from this team. And I know we'll see Beckham there with the double into the gap. He won't go any further than that, but we're starting to see this team come together in the offense, not just one guy, but a lot of them. And I know as someone that watches baseball every day, you really enjoy that like all the rest of the fans.
Yeah, fun environment in the clubhouse right now. It's been a real maturation to watch these kids come around. I think they got a team that can make some noise. It's going to be real exciting to watch the rest of the year. Offensively, it's not just Billy cranking things up. Boy, the middle of that order is made up pounding. They've really been pounding it out.
Before we let you go, you've got the son and Billy, but it's been fun now to watch Billy and Katie with daughters, and I know you love your granddaughters, but how about Billy the dad? We see him on Sundays back at home running the bases after the game like the fans do with his youngest daughter, Carson. What's Billy like as a dad?
Yeah, he gets it. I think family perspective is the one thing that, my wife and I have been married 31 years. We put everything into our family, and I think we enabled him with that. So other than the fact that he's got to figure out what to do with them girls, he's sure got it figured out. We melt, he and I both, so they speak and we melt. So, but he's doing things the right way, and been very fortunate.
And where, by the way, did he learn his gift of gab?
His mother's side of the family. I don't know.
Come on.
About those guys over there.
Because you are a very shy guy.
Yeah. Well, I think it rubs off. We've had a great time together. It's been I'm the most luckiest person you could imagine. Beautiful family. Billy's a great son. We live a mile apart everywhere. We're in Kansas City. We're in Arizona. Balancing that so he can be a dad and a husband to Katie is a little bit of a challenge. But boy, if you'd let us, we'd be on a golf course every day, and watching Tar Heel basketball. Get that back in there.
And that is why they will not allow the dads to stay on this trip for the rest of the year, even if it means winning, because as Billy said, happy wife, happy life. So we'll at least keep you here through the Detroit series, and let's not let him know that sometimes he doesn't hit when you're here, because we want you here the whole trip.
Yeah, but he'll be the first one to tell you that. It's like, Dad, you need to go home. I can hit better when you're at home. But no, it's just a little running joke between the two of us.
JD, great to catch up with you. Happy Father's Day, and enjoy the rest of the trip.
Yeah, and to the guys out in the truck, and all the folks that work with you guys that are missing their families to be here to bring this. I really appreciate what you guys did.
We appreciate those words. It's always fun, Ryan, to catch up with J.D. Butler. We've known him for a long time, and, of course, he's been around the Royals for so many years with all of the seasons that Billy Butler has put in.
That's right, Joel. Yeah, I had a really good chat with J.D. down on the field during batting practice today, and talking about baseball, talking about life, talking about Father's Day. And, sometimes we use the figure of speech that hitting is not rocket science, but that has different meaning in the Butler family, because J.D. is a rocket scientist. He is a true rocket scientist. So as Billy was learning the art of hitting from his dad, with his dad, it was with a rocket scientist.
I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Got to shake his hand. That was a great interview. I hear a father with a thankful heart. He's grateful. And he's a big, huge Royal fan.
Now, it was just a slight exaggeration when Mr. Butler told Joel that after the sign-ups for T-ball at the age of 5, they've been at the ballpark every day. It's a slight exaggeration because Billy will tell you about at least 1 year when he and his dad took batting practice 365 days.
Really?
1-1 on Abreu. That includes Thanksgiving and Christmas. And while Mom was home preparing the meals, that was an excuse to get out of the house. And they would go to the batting cage. 365 days, at least 1 year. They took batting practice. 1-2 on Abreu with 2 on and 2 out.
I think it paid off. James got to be careful. One swing in the bat could get these guys right back in it.
Royals got their 3 runs in the top half of this inning after 2 outs and nobody on, and now the same situation here. 2 down, nobody on, a double and a walk. And now the man at the plate with 19 home runs, 51 RBIs. And he was able to lay off that pitch. 2-2.
That's a great spot. Abreu's been swinging at that pitch a lot against the Royals. One of the reasons why they've been holding him down. He's able to catch himself there. He's been aggressive. Royals haven't given him too much to hit, but he's trying too hard.
Royals have been giving James Shields great run support this year. Last year, he had the 7th worst run support in the American League. And our Toyota League leaders for today will show you the dramatic turnaround. So from 7th worst to 4th best. And he has 5 runs already today. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And to put it into even more perspective compared to last year, today is the 8th time the Royals have scored 5 or more runs for James Shields, and we're nowhere really near the halfway mark. Last year they only did that for him 9 times. Jeremy Guthrie has taken over the role as the bad luck dude when it comes to run support. Royals picked him up on Friday. He had a 5-run first and a 1-run second inning and won that game 7-2, helping Guthrie get the win.
James needs a finish-off pitch right here. Abreu fouling off pitch after pitch, taxing the count. Pitch count.
Center field deep. Dyson to the wall. He's got it. Not deep enough. So it was that close to becoming a 1-run game. Instead, it's just a long, loud out. And as we head to the 4th,
enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Great to see the Moose getting loose at U.S. Cellular Field yesterday. Hit his 6th home run, put it on a tee for him. Good compact stroke out underneath it. That'll get him going. Along with the 3 hits the previous night.
He hasn't seen a strike yet today. And there's the first one. He walked on 4 straight pitches in the 2nd inning. He has added 26 points to his batting average during the Royals' 6-game winning streak. 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 hits yesterday. 2 of them were blue pits, and he was due for some blue pits after several hard hit outs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He has had the bad combination this year of not having found his swing and his timing yet, and bad luck. He's had as many hard hit outs as any Royal this year.
Pitchers will tell you they all even out, but sometimes hitters will disagree with that, saying, nah, I don't think so. Because they remember the line drives you hit, you square it up, and a couple runners on, and they catch it. It breaks your heart as you head back to the dugout.
Had a play, still 3-2. Alcides Escobar is on deck. After that, Gerard Dyson. Royals got 2 in the 1st inning, 3 in the 3rd. Eric Hosmer has a 2-run home run. Salvador Perez has a 3-run home run. And Mike Moustakas has walked twice today. And that's 3 given up by Rienzo. Second time he's walked Moustakas to begin the inning.
He's not going to pitch to you. Just take him. Take the walks. Get a walk and a hit in a game, it's going to up your average, especially for Moose. He's trying to get that thing to respectability.
Get those legs loose, get that groin stretched out. Never know when the manager points your way and he tells you to pinch run.
He's ready.
Escobar rounded into a double play in the 2nd inning right after Moustakas walked.
Rienzo must not have checked the scouting report all that well, as he's trying to keep Moose close with a pickoff attempt.
And Moustakas runs, and a hit and run. And Ramirez got second base. As Moustakas is on his back and slow to get up. That might just be out of frustration more than anything else.
I'm not so sure that Ramirez touched the bag. I'll have to see it again now. Moose, just as soon as we talked about it, there's a little hit and run going on there. Never saw him touch the base. So Wakamatsu's going to come out. He saw the same thing we did. You can see Alexi, he's all around the bag but wasn't on it.
So Don Wakamatsu becomes acting manager. Ned Yost was ejected in the 1st inning. Pedro Grifol is on the line with Bill Duplessis in the Royals clubhouse. And the Royals record this year is outstanding when it comes to using challenges. They are 11-6 this year if you match up successful challenges to unsuccessful challenges, and some of those unsuccessful ones have come late in the game when it's been kind of a 50-50 play, and hey, why not use the challenge? But when the challenges have been used before the later innings, the Royals are almost perfect.
It's great to see that. And also Ned has done a great job with that this year, but Billy Duplessis, he deserves a lot of credit as he's the coach inside reviewing him for him. Now, did his heel hit the bag? I don't know. But he went ahead and completed the throw I was worried about Moose getting his legs tied up, thinking he twisted an ankle there as he was laying on the ground.
Now, the interesting thing about this play is that Ramirez handled the ground ball. So it's his job to touch second base. Now, if he had received that exact throw from Beckham, that may have fallen into the in the neighborhood rule. And the call has been overturned. So good call again by Bill Duplessis. And instead of a double play, the White Sox will get just the one out at first base. So it's a 6-3 play to get Escobar, and Moustakas is safe at second.
Outstanding job. And you don't like to see anybody get kicked out of the game, but in that first inning, it could have turned ugly for the Royals. Had home plate umpire Paul Emmel saw James Shields pointing to the ground and doing those things. It looks like Emmel's fuse is very short today. Ned came out just in time, and he got tossed. I think he diverted the attention away. But had James Shields got thrown out of that game, that would have put that whole bullpen in trouble again. So, good toss out by Ned. Or actually, by Paul Emmel. I don't think I want to pay Ned's fine, but it's a good job of backing your player.
Beckham does not make the play, so that challenge is huge. As Moustakas scores, Gerard Dyson gives the Royals a 6-1 lead.
Everything is going right for the Royals. Stay in the tree, fellas. It's a nice place to be. Looking down at everybody else, and Dyson with a two-hopper top spinner. No chance by Beckham. Good challenge.
Royals have now won 6 of their last 7 challenges, and that one leads directly to a run. So Dyson's at first, 1 out. Let's go to Joel.
And Ryan, this could be part 2 of Dyson Nieto. You'll remember earlier in this year that we told you Nieto and Hosmer grew up together in the Miami area. They were best friends playing youth baseball throughout their early years. They were roommates in spring training along with Gerard Dyson. Some trash talking going on there, all fun loving. Dyson was sure he could steal on his roommate Nieto. Nieto got him earlier in the year in Kansas City. We'll see if there's a part 2 coming up.
It's always interesting when you're talking about siblings, you're talking about friends growing up in the same neighborhood, or as in this case, friends of friends and roommates in spring training, the extra motivation that comes from that.
Oh, that's the best competition you can get.
Abreu wants it and makes the play to get Infante. He's 1 for 3, and there are 2 outs in the 4th.
Speaking about that, Francisco Bueno came in and pitched the first game of this series against his fellow countryman Abreu, and you could see him drop down. He really executed some good pitches, and I knew that they were competing. But then the next day, I asked Bueno in the dugout. I said, "Hey, when your fellow countryman came up there, Abreu, were you really trying to get him? Maybe worse than anybody else?" He goes, "Yeah, because we talk a lot of smack against each other, and bragging rights are important when it comes to friends and guys that hang out off the field."
Well, so far, Eric's childhood buddy, Adrian Nieto, has not come up with the right pitch to get Hosmer out, as Eric is homer to center and hit a shot with the ground ball out to third, 1 for 2. And that ball's hit high in the air to center field. Man, look at the wind push that from center into left center. That ball off the bat was Eaton's play, the center fielder, but in the end, it's De Aza who makes the catch. The Royals get a run after the successful challenge and lead 6-1. Baseball is brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. James Shields has a 6-1 lead to the bottom of the 4th inning. There's a nice gesture on Father's Day with father taking his son to the game. And here's a little glimpse into my world. Little boy gets the ball. Big brother says, "No, that's mine." And then UFC cage fighting breaks out.
Oh.
Adam Dunn couldn't have done that if he wanted to. He'll take it. Although I bet the White Sox would have liked a little more aggressive hitting from him back in the 1st inning.
Yeah, the excuse me singles are always a thing of beauty when you talk about all those line drives you hit and do they even out? Well, there's a nice gift for him on Father's Day. And you know, one thing you got to watch out for, though, middle infielders there in Fonte and Escobar, is this big guy. He runs well. He's a good athlete. So, potential double play ball, you want to make sure you clear yourself because he doesn't mess around. He's from Texas. He plays the game hard.
Ball 1 to Ramirez. He popped to second in the 2nd inning. Two 2-0 on Ramirez. That's blooped into shallow right center field and will drop in front of Kane, who tried to play that hop quickly because there may have been a chance for a force out at second base. Dunn had to make sure that ball was going to drop. So Ramirez with a bloop single and a couple of cheapies for the White Sox. They have 2 on with nobody out.
This ball, the wind really kicked it down. You see Kane put his glove out. That kind of tries to deke the runner into thinking that he's going to catch it. But that wind really pushed that one down.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. The flags will tell you that wind is blowing in. That pop-up, it looked like it was blowing in and knocking that fly ball down. But we've also seen the ball carry to center field. There's really no prevailing wind here on a windy day. There's a strike to Viciado. Out on a nice play by Infante at second base in the 2nd inning. One and one. Two balls, one strike. Viciado got off to a fast start, and he has really cooled off this month. Two and two. He's gotten a lot more playing time than he and the White Sox thought he would get. He was an everyday player last year, and the White Sox made the trade for Adam Eaton. They had Avisail Garcia, a young outfielder they got from the Tigers last year, and it looked like Viciado was going to get pushed out. Off the end of the bat, Dyson is there. Dunn tags, but it's just a bluff. One down. Adam Eaton's been on the disabled list. Avisail Garcia is out with shoulder surgery, so Viciado has gotten a lot more playing time. And he was was expecting to get.
Dads are in high cotton today. They're up in a suite. How about that? There's Mr. Holland right there. Look at him. He's raising the roof for us. He just texted me and said, hey, Hud, make sure you thank the organization for all of us, please. We are having the time of our life.
And that's stroked into right center field and will go all the way to the fence. Dunn scores. Here's Ramirez coming around third. He will score. It is now 6-3.
Left the ball up. Viciado, he split the gap perfectly. White Sox, they're not going to go easy. Last 10 games here at U.S. Cellular, KC's won 9 of them. Elevation down the middle. Excuse me, that's Diaz.
And now Nieto. Crack bat, and Moustakas dives and makes the play on the line. Shields almost the victim of a cheapie. All this started on a check swing single by Adam Dunn and then a bloop single by Alexei Ramirez. And if Moustakas doesn't make that play, that ball was past third base. It had a lot of side spin on it. It probably was going to kick to the left and go into foul ground and make that a tough play for Moustakas to try and throw out Nieto. And now a base hit into left field. De Aza will be waved home and now stopped at the last moment. McEwing, Joe McEwing, third base coach, initially was waving him home, and Alex got to the ball very quickly.
Nice job by Alex. The ball hopped up on him at the last minute. Good focus. But when you have a reputation that Alex has, every third baseman in baseball knows you can't run on him. The ball popped up on him at the last minute. He caught it just like he did in his infield days. Shields needs to stop the bleeding here.
Gordon Beckham's double in the third inning is his first hit in the series. Has good career numbers against James Shields. First and third, 2 down. Fouled away, 0-1. A couple of years ago, Gordon Beckham had 16 home runs. Spent some time on the disabled list last year with a broken hand and only had 5 home runs. Keeping an eye on Eaton, who runs very well. That hasn't really translated into being a very good major league base stealer. He has 5 stolen bases and he's been thrown out 5 times.
He's learning. He's still learning when to go, when the best time is, trying to pick a breaking ball.
1-1 on Beckham.
But he's got to be careful with Beckham. You can't just throw him fastballs just so you can give Salvia a good pitch to throw the runner out. You can forget about that runner. He's got 2 outs. He needs to focus on that hitter. Beckham can hurt you.
2-1. Beckham has 2 career home runs against Shields. He has 10 hits and 31 at-bats. Double today. Shields has only had 1-1-2-3 inning. White Sox had 2 runners in the first, 2 in the third, and they've had 4 in this inning. Close, but outside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
80th pitch. Wow. Salvi just stepped out in front of home plate to alert the infielders what he was going to do with the ball if Eaton takes off. 2 options. He can hold it, he can fake the throw and throw to third, or he can try to get Eaton.
And that's drilled to right center, but Dyson is there and he makes the play. So it's just 2 for Chicago in the 4th inning. Alejandro De Aza with a 2-run double to make it a 3-run game. Royals in the 5th inning have Butler, Gordon, and Perez. Up next Sunday at Kauffman Stadium in every Sunday home game. It's Signature Sundays. 2 Royals players will sign autographs on the top of the Royals dugout from 11:45 to 12:05, weather permitting. So we hope you'll come out early on Family Fun Day Sundays and Signature Sundays. And you can learn more at Royals.com/Sunday. Back to a 3-run game as Billy Butler leads off the 5th inning. Royals got 2 in the 1st inning on an Eric Hosmer home run. White Sox got a run back in the bottom of the 1st. Salvador Perez hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. And the Royals added another run in the 4th on Dyson's single. There's J.D. Butler watching his son hit. 2 balls and 1 strike. It looked like the Royals were going to run away from the White Sox again. But Chicago got a 2-run double from De Aza in the bottom of the 4th. Billy into center field. That's well hit. Back goes Eaton. He is at the wall. He's got it. First time Billy has been retired today. 1 down in the 5th inning. Been a long day already. 84 pitches for Rienzo, and remember his ERA was 9 in his previous 3 starts. Perhaps his most frustrating matchup today was against Alex Gordon. And that was back in the 3rd inning with 1 on and 2 out. Rienzo thought he had Alex struck out, but he didn't get the call from Paul Emmel. And Rienzo showed some frustration on the mound, pumped his fist, said something to the home plate umpire. And the next batter, Salvador Perez, hit a 3-run home run. 2-2.
There's an occasional changeup right there. Hadn't thrown too many of them. Back in the 3rd inning, we'll show you the pitch that he thought was a strike. See, he was walking off, then he stops and wanted to go to his hands and knees, and he took his time getting back up there. When he did, he flapped his arms a little bit. He's like, what? Where was that? And he threw a big breaking ball like that one there.
That's his 3rd strikeout. 2 down in the 5th inning. As Salvador Perez comes to the plate, we remind you about a new ticket package, the Salvi's 13 pack. That's tickets to 13 Royals home games, including a complimentary ticket to the July 12th game. That's Sal's bobblehead night, and a free Royals hat, all at a discounted price. And if you're one of the first 500 to purchase, Salvi will autograph your Royals cap. So if that sounds good, you can sign up right now by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Ask about the Salvi 13 pack or go to Royals.com/Salvi13. And that ball's hit well to left field, but playable for De Aza. And that's the first 1-2-3 inning today for Andre Rienzo. Bottom of the 5th. Royals lead 6-3. By Thoroughbred Ford. Check out our huge selection of F-150s at thoroughbredford.com. And by Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. I can remember many, many years here where this was the worst place in the world. It seemed that way for the Royals to play. And now the Royals have won 9 of their last 10 here at U.S. Cellular Field, and 15 of their last 21. Connor Gillespie leads off and takes ball 1. From 2000 to 2011, so you're talking about 12 seasons, the Royals lost 73 of 108 games.
Ooh.
That's a .324 winning percentage. 2-0 on Gillespie. They have really turned that around. Going for a 3-game sweep in this series before heading on to Detroit for 4.
You only lose for so many years. And it's been almost a whole generation from what I understand. Ooh, that's going to split the gap.
Another extra base hit for the White Sox as Gillespie bounces it over the wall for a double. So that's 8 hits for the White Sox today and 5 extra base hits against James Shields.
White Sox are staying on the attack. Not a bad location there. That ball was down. Good swing by Gillespie. He's a line drive, gap-to-gap type hitter. But Rhino, Dayton Moore has done a great job of building the farm system and getting these guys up here to change that losing environment all those years you're talking about to winning. And it sure is fun to watch this team now. Clicking on all cylinders. They've got stars almost at every spot. Got a nice starting rotation. The bullpen, one of the best in baseball. Just continue to stay behind this ball club, folks. This is going to be a lot of fun the rest of the year. Still a lot of baseball to play.
The wind will push this ball, and it pushes Hosmer back into fair territory. So Jose Abreu is 1 for 3, and Royals continue to make the right pitches to him. He is just 3 out of 21 against Royals pitching this year, which is 2 RBIs.
If Hosmer would have dropped it, it would have embarrassed Abreu, because Abreu thought that ball was going to be way foul when the wind pushed it back in, and he didn't even run hardly. Don't think Hosmer's going to miss a pop-up like that.
Fouled away by Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn has been a fascinating topic of debate over the last several years. He has over 450 home runs. He has an impressive on-base percentage because of his high number of walks. The question comes up in this age of focusing on on-base percentage, is that how important is that stat for Adam Dunn? Case in point, he comes up in the bottom of the first inning. White Sox are down by 1. The tying run is in scoring position, and he looked like he was up there to try and take a walk, and he struck out looking. And I don't think the White Sox are spending that kind of money on Adam Dunn to walk on a borderline pitch when you've got the tying run in scoring position.
No, they're not. They want to see him swing.
All in all, he's had a very impressive and productive career. He is a very popular player, both amongst his teammates and opposing players. Now I'm thinking, and this is an unfair comparison, but I'm thinking there are guys, you know, that they're going to try and find a way to drive in that run. That was a great pitch by Shields. Don't get me wrong, but there have been quite a few times since Dunn has come to the White Sox, and we've seen more of them this year, where situations like that have come up. He strikes out here, and that's Shields' third, and there are 2 down in the 5th inning.
But, you know, he's got such a great eye. He's so plate disciplined throughout his career. And that's one of the reasons why he gets a lot of pitches to hit home runs. Sometimes they got to throw to him. But I'm with you. And before the season started, they told me that he was trying to change his approach, that he wanted to go up there and swing the bat more. When you're so disciplined like that, it's hard to change to be a free swinger.
Well, I'm not trying to bury the guy, because, I mean, 450 home runs is 450 home runs. But he has the fewest RBIs in baseball history amongst hitters who have 450 home runs by a lot.
By
by the tune of 274 RBIs.
Man, that's an owie. There's no pad there.
And just to finish the thought, he has the second lowest batting average of all hitters who have had at least 450 home runs. Only Dave Kingman had a lower batting average. So it's been many years where both sides make very intriguing cases as to the true effectiveness of Adam Dunn in his career, long career. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alexei Ramirez. Ramirez had a bloop single in the 4th inning, and he, along with Dunn, scored on De Aza's 2-run double to make it 6-3. And now Ramirez bats with Gillespie at second base, 2 down. Alex back in left field, sunglasses on, and makes a play. There have been a lot of outs on or near the warning track for the White Sox today against James Shields. He gets around the leadoff double, and at the end of 5, the Royals still lead 6-3.
The AT&T fan photo of the game. This one coming from @Holland5756. Remember that name, and I think you might see when we look at the picture here a resemblance. That looked like anybody we know. @Holland5756. That is Greg Holland's brother Chase, along with his girlfriend Trish McIntyre. You guys may remember we saw them out in Anaheim last month on that trip as they were out there watching Greg during the Angels series. So good to hear from them. Of course, Chase's dad, Scott, is here on the Father's Day trip. His mother is here, too. So family presence there. Guys, wanted to pass on a story, and I know that Denny Matthews joining you, too, and he may be able to comment on this, but talking to Hawk Harrelson yesterday, and he was talking about how difficult it is for young hitters to really get in the groove of having an approach. And he went back to when he broke into the league as a 21-year-old in 1963. He said it took him about 5 years just mentally to be able to handle an 0 for 4. And kind of goes back to what Lonnie Chisenhall was saying the other day about Mike Moustakas. It takes some time as Lorenzo Cain is going to get robbed out there in right field. But he said he learned from Ted Williams something very important, who he called the most charismatic athlete he had ever seen. Williams said you have to look for one pitch every pitch and make adjustments pitch by pitch. Hawk is adamant about this, and he said what he learned from Ted Williams was let your thoughts dictate your mechanics, not your mechanics dictate your thoughts. He said Victor Martinez is a guy that does that as well as anyone in the league. Use the batter's box. Dictate what you want, not go up there with just one approach and having to stick by it. I'm curious what the three of you think of that from Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Joel, thank you. Ball 1 to Mike Moustakas first. Let's remind people that this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Kathy Kinney from beautiful Lee Summit. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Kathy wins $600. And if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Kathy wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. As we now officially welcome in Hall of Famer Denny Matthews, our Sundays with Denny segment, as Moustakas hits a high bouncer to first. And to the bag, Rienzo. 2 down in the 6th inning. Hi, Denny.
Hi, anybody.
Which is the title of one of your books, right?
It is.
Hi, anybody.
That's a tribute to Buddy Blattner, my original partner.
So, to Joel's point, that there is so much of an information overload these days that I think what Hawk Harrelson, in reference to Ted Williams, was getting to, that there is maybe a little less flexibility or adjustability by hitters today.
I think it's a personality thing. I mean, some guys are able to forget an 0 for 5 a little bit easier than others. Some guys, it carries over to the next game. Other guys, as Yogi Berra once said, it's a forgotten memory. And then they go from there. And they come back and go 2 for 4 the next day. So, and some guys just dwell on it, and you got to forget about it. It's over. Can't do anything about it.
I agree. Also, what Joe was talking about with Hawk says hitters have very little control once they get up to the plate. But you can control by where you stand in that batter's box. You can stand all the way back off the plate. Sometimes will frustrate a pitcher. You can get up on the plate. So he's a real advocate of moving around in that batter's box.
I remember something that Frank White used to talk about a lot is that today a lot of hitters have a grooved swing, meaning they're swinging at the same pitch off the tee, the same pitch in soft toss, basically the same pitch in batting practice. They maybe have better swings today, more mechanically sound swings today, but their ability to perhaps adjust to the pitcher, their ability to hit and run, their ability to maybe at times hit pitches that are out of the strike zone, as Joel was saying, going pitch to pitch, having a planned pitch to pitch, that part of the game I think is diminished.
Yeah, I would agree. The best hitters adjust quicker, more readily. And it begins really mentally. What you do, what's your plan? You look at video. There's so much available now. And what's this pitcher going to try to do against me? It's always tougher, of course, if you've never seen that pitcher. And then once you get a little bit of a history, you can figure out, or at least try to figure out, what he's doing to you as a hitter. What about the game? What's the situation? Late innings, early innings? What's the score? Guys on base? A lot goes into it. But I think it all begins mentally.
Do you think that's a result of a lot of guys, as the Royals are hitting right now, there's probably guys in the clubhouse watching their last at-bat. Same thing with the White Sox and same with any other team. This isn't just the Royals. Whereas when you played, everyone was hanging on the railing right now and just watching the game, watching what was going on in the field right now.
Yeah, and I learned more by watching what the pitcher was doing to my teammates live. Now, of course, we didn't have the availability of the video right in back of the dugout. You'd have to go all the way up to the clubhouse to see it. But Chili Davis, great hitting instructor right now for the Oakland A's, and was a tremendous hitter in his day. He believes that the young players today are so focused on their swings, on their at-bats, and they'll go up and they'll look at that where they're missing out on seeing what he's doing to the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the other end of that spectrum is, and all the info and everything, the video, you can overthink. I mean, let's back off just a little bit and keep it simple. Go up there, know the pitcher, know what he might try to do to you, but then see the ball, get a good pitch, and take a rip.
Yeah, there is such a thing as paralysis by analysis.
Yep.
And I saw that evident playing in Japan. They studied 3 pitches before the game.
Abreu makes the play. He goes back to the bag to get Dyson. That's all for the Royals in the top of the 6th. 5.5 played. Royals still lead 6-3. with a Father's Day theme, and with Denny here in the booth, having seen every season of Royals baseball. How many father-son duos have played for the Royals? Not coached and played or managed and played. There have been some of those, but played for the Royals.
Put me down for 4.
Okay. Well, I have 3. The answer is 3, not 4. I was curious who that 4th one was going to be. Now, we've been thinking about this for 5 innings. Although you study the Fox Sports Kansas City monitor on radio. I see you do that when we're working together, but it would be the McRaes,
yep,
the Wathans, and the Bannisters.
That's it. Floyd and Brian, who I thought was Alan.
We had a funny moment on radio the other day. Casey Coleman had been called up from AAA, and Denny had seen him pitch with the Cubs. 1-2 on Diane Viciedo, and he presented to me during the radio broadcast. Casey Coleman reminds me in size and appearance and in stuff of a Royals pitcher who was here for a few years. And I asked him, since I've been here, yes. Recently, yes. In fact, his father also played for the Royals.
Big clue there.
Yep.
And not Ted Kluszewski.
That's when Denny launched Alan Bannister, which buckled me because I didn't know Alan Bannister
former
had played for the Royals, and apparently pitched for the Royals when I was here, which he wasn't, but we were talking about Brian Bannister.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how names, you know somebody, and I told you on the bus on the way out here, I was in college with a guy named Rich Terrell. And I don't know how many times I wanted to call former Royals infielder Jerry Terrell Rich. It's just, you get used to a name, a first and a last name, and it sticks in your brain, and sometimes your brain betrays you.
Viciedo to left field to win, playing some havoc with that ball, but Alex makes the play, and there's one down in the 6th inning. James Shields will have his bobblehead day at Kauffman Stadium. That's June 28th with the Angels in town, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates receive this James Shields bobblehead courtesy of Hy-Vee and Farmland. It's a Saturday day game, remember that, not the normal 6:10 game, and the gates will open at 11:30 on Saturday, June 28th. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets.
That bobblehead reminds me of Brian Bannister.
Not to be confused with
Alan Trammell.
Denny, it's nice to know that your brain
locks
sometimes too.
It's where you're going.
You were. And mine does it a lot more than yours does.
I don't know about that.
De Aza hit a 2-run double in the 4th inning, turning a 6-1 Royals lead into a 6-3 game. You know, this is not James Shields' best outing, but in some ways it's vintage James Shields, because I can think of so many other pitchers that'd be out of the game by now because they don't have their A game. The ball's getting whacked around. There have been several outs on or near the warning track, and he just continues to compete as De Aza cracks his bat, and Infante throws him out. 2 down.
Let's talk about the mental aspect of what you just brought up. Rienzo let one pitch, which missed, he thought was a strike, close enough, maybe, okay. He didn't get the call. He let that one pitch, which made it 3-2, and then he walked Alex Gordon, lead to 3 runs. So, again, short memory, forget about that pitch. Nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about the walk. But then the pitch to Perez, middle of the plate, boom. And that one pitch, which really bothered him, led to 3 runs. So Shields now, you say, well, he would forget about it. Let's assume that he would. We don't know that, but he's mentally tough enough. He's veteran enough that, in my opinion, he probably would have forgotten about it, go after the guy even after ball 3, then you get Gordon out if you're Shields and you move on.
Well, good example is in this game, 1st inning, when James got called for the balk. It took him out of his game. He was yelling. He wasn't happy. Some guys you're going to worry about that.
That's all Moustakas can do is just pick up that slow roller from Nieto, and he's on with 2 outs.
But veteran pitchers, they've been through so many of those little mental things that they understand, especially an intense pitcher like James Shields. You don't worry about him, but the Rienzo have been struggling. You can't afford to let one pitch, like you said, take you out of your whole game. And this kid Rienzo's pitching for his job today. That's a big game for this guy.
I think you have to understand the game, and by that I mean you're going to get some breaks. You might make a great pitch and a guy hits a home run, and you make a lousy pitch and you get an out. You got to understand that the breaks of the game sometimes are not going to go your way, and if you're going to let those things bother you, you got a problem.
It'll show up later.
You bet.
2-hit game for Adam Eaton. He tripled on a bad hop that got past Hosmer in the first, and then he scored on the balk. That's what we were just talking about. He also has a single. And a base hit into right field just past Infante. So Eaton has a 3-hit game. Denny, I have to ask you, because I had a just when you think you've seen it all moment in the bottom of the first inning. I've seen, not many times, but I've seen a right-hand pitcher try and pick off a runner at third. James Shields was unsuccessful trying to get Eaton, and he came back and did it again. I think that was the first time I've seen a balk, similar to a left-hand pitcher throwing to first, a balk called on James Shields trying to pick off a runner at third.
Yeah, I wish we had videotape of Steve Busby, former Royals pitcher, who was... Buzz had the best move. Here's the Shields balk. But Buzz had the best move to third base of any right-handed pitcher I've ever seen. He picked a Cleveland outfielder off third base twice within 4 innings. His name was Charlie Spikes. And as a runner at third, you're watching the pitcher, and then you look from your left to your right to see the ball go toward home plate. And Charlie Spikes did that twice. The only problem was the ball wasn't going toward home plate. It was coming over to third base. And Paul Shaw was playing third base, and he tagged Charlie out twice. So fool me once, why, shame on you. And then second time, shame on me. So that's a little bit embarrassing. But Busby had unquestionably the best move of any right-hander. Most right-handers won't even bother.
Okay, so let me ask you. He had the best move to third base. But, I mean, is that like saying he was the best ice fisherman in Florida? I mean, was anybody else trying that, or was he the only guy that would make that move to third base?
Very seldom did you see it from another right-handed pitcher, but he perfected it.
2 balls and 1 strike on Beckham.
What sold it was his head, because he looked toward home, but then everything else was going toward third base. That's not a balk. But it is a pickoff, and it was several times.
Same thing that deceives the runner at first is the head, especially the lefty. He turns his head home.
Right field, that ball carries some, but Lorenzo Cain is there to make the catch. So, in typical James Shields fashion, it was not his best day, but it's a quality start to this point. The Royals lead 6-3 at the end of 6. Don't forget to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Shudler, Denny Matthews. And we were just talking about one of the differences between James Shields and Andre Rienzo today. Here's the Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. And some of the numbers are similar, Denny, but getting back to your point, allowing one pitch that didn't go Rienzo's way, that's the difference between allowing 3 runs like Shields did and allowing 6.
And the difference in the game, 3 runs. Yep.
Rienzo was over 100 pitches. So Jake Petrichka is a Chevy call to the bullpen. And he comes on to get Infante, Hosmer, and Butler. Strike to Infante.
Rienzo at least did what his pitching coach Donnie Cooper was hoping he would do and go 6 innings. So he did make it to that mark.
1-1.
Petrichka's mid-90s fastball guy. Slider and a changeup.
Infante is 1 for 3 today. He singled in the first inning and scored on Hosmer's 2-run home run. And now Infante has 6 hits in this series and a 6-game hitting streak. One away. Petrichka has some fond memories of pitching against the Royals. He got his first major league win at Kauffman Stadium last year in August. He pitched 2/3 of an inning in the 11th inning and ended up with the win. And then this year he got his first major league save at Kauffman Stadium. Matt Lindstrom, you might remember, was on for a save and was trying to field a bunt and injured his ankle. Ended up having surgery on it, and Petrichka came out of the bullpen and finished off the inning.
That was that little bunt play he came and fielded. So he ended up having surgery on that? Ooh.
Dust storm right in Hosmer's face as that pitch was coming in.
It's a tough day to pitch. It's a tough day to hit. It's a tough day in the outfield, infield. We talked early before the game on radio. Communication between the infielders and the outfielders is paramount today, because you better be loud and you better keep yelling, "I've got it, I've got it," and run the infielders off the play if possible. It's tough. The wind swirls in this place. It'll be tricky. It's about 35 miles an hour, don't you think? Steady.
Easily.
Yeah, and not to mention all the blowing paper and debris that's out there that distracts the hitter.
Sure.
2-2.
I was very fortunate to be able to play 5 years in the American and 5 in the National. And over on the north side in Chicago, I was playing for the Cardinals right field. And I heard all the bleacher creatures were all over me. And the newspapers were blowing everywhere. And I went up and grabbed a newspaper and I wadded it up and threw it behind my back. Oh, man, I should have never done that. "We don't litter here in Chicago. Pick it up." They were on me for moving the newspaper.
First thing you hear as a player on a windy day when you walk into Wrigley Field, I don't care, infielder, outfielder, even the catcher's involved, the pitcher, keep your eye on the flags between every pitch, because that wind can shift in an island. I mean, just the time you blink your eye, that wind could have shifted from blowing in to blowing across foul pole to foul pole. Every pitch, keep tabs on that wind at Wrigley.
Oh, and either the wind was blowing out or blowing in. There was hardly any in between.
Still 2-2 on Hosmer. There are some ballparks where all you have to do is look at the flags. So somewhere else you'd say, okay, the wind is blowing in from the right field corner. Therefore, the hitters are going to get help to left field and left center. The ball's going to be knocked down to right field. But in this ballpark, that'll just show you the wind velocity. It's not going to exactly tell you what's going to happen when the ball's in the air.
Normally in this ballpark on a windy day, you're going to get a jet stream straight to the 400 mark in dead center. Hosmer's first inning at bat, he really hit it hard, but once it got to about midway into center field, it took off like a wiffle ball in the wind. I mean, it really seemed to pick up speed.
Hosmer thinks that he made contact, and Paul Emmel says no, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Petrichka.
Harry Carey, who broadcast here in Chicago for many years, on a windy day used to say, it's an ill wind that doesn't blow somebody some good. Not sure what that meant, but he always said that.
That's a good line.
It is.
Another park that's like that in the league is Globe Life Park, where the Rangers play in Arlington. Wind's always whipping through there. Did you recognize the name?
No, I had no idea what you were talking about.
I didn't either.
Well, you know how they change names all the time with these stadiums.
I just say Rangers Ballpark.
Yeah, or the ballpark in Arlington is what they used to call it.
Anaheim Stadium.
Right.
Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah, the Big A. Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
It's fine, but it's still Oakland. You know where you're at.
That's right.
If you don't say Oakland, then put about 3 companies together, and what stadium are we in? Who cares? If people want to know, they're listening. We're in Oakland.
Naming rights are big money.
Yeah, but you got to put the name of the town in there no matter what.
You would think.
Billy walks on 4 straight pitches, and that's 5 walks allowed by White Sox pitching today as they continue to lead the league in that category. And with Alex Gordon coming up, Robin Ventura is going to bring on a lefty. Scott Downs, who appeared in the game yesterday and gave up a home run to Mike Moustakas. He's a Chevy call to the bullpen. 1 on, 2 out. 6-3 Royals in the 7th inning. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game sent in by Ed with Crown Vision. Behind them, looks like seats very low on the third base side at Kauffman Stadium. Royals will be back there on Friday against the Seattle Mariners. Scott Downs with Butler at first, 2 outs, and he'll get Alex Gordon. Downs came into the game in the 7th inning yesterday and retired the first 5 with 3 strikeouts and then allowed a home run to Mike Moustakas.
Likes to come in on lefty, strike 1.
Shallow left, and De Aza dives and makes a nice play. So Downs gets some help from his defense. And that's a scoreless top of the 7th for the Royals. Stretch time on the south side of Chicago. It is still 6-3 KC.
Seats. Do you have a corporate outing coming up or clients coming into town? Ticketsforless.com can get your group within the first 10 rows behind the dugout or even all together in the front row of the crown seats. Check out ticketsforless.com for all your Royals tickets. When the Royals next come home, maybe they could be in first place, but the Twins doing the Tigers absolutely no favors today. They were losing, came back and tied it 3-3, but just seconds ago, the Tigers winning on a walk-off sac fly from J.D. Martinez. And so Detroit wins it. They're celebrating right now as we speak. And disappointing, guys, Torrey Hunter led off the bottom of the 9th with a leadoff single. And then Victor Martinez looked like he won it with a walk-off homer. It went to the wall, in and out of the glove of Oswaldo Arcia. Would have scored Hunter, but he had to hold up. He got to third. The sac fly wins it. Game over. So the Royals right now, as we speak, 2 games out.
All right, Joel, thank you. And if they can hang on to this lead, they'll be back to a game and a half behind the Tigers with 4 games to play. Should be fun beginning tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon in Detroit. Francisco Bueno, there's the final score as Joe Nathan is the winning pitcher against his former team. Francisco Bueno, after 6 innings from James Shields, takes over in the 7th to pitch to Connor Gillespie, Jose Abreu, and Adam Dunn. Gillespie has walked and doubled, 1 for 2, and is now hitting over 400 against the Royals this year. Right field, deep, but playable for Kane. How many fly balls have been either on or very near the warning track today?
A lot of warning track power.
So, a couple of things coming into play here. Some left-hand hitters coming up, so Bueno comes on, and Aaron Crow, who normally handles the 7th inning with the Royals leading. He pitched in the last 2 games, including 16 pitches yesterday. From his knees, not in time. Jose Abreu is on with an infield single after a nice effort by Escobar, who did everything he could to try and make that play and lost his glove along the way.
Had a little bit of extra time with Abreu's lack of speed, but he couldn't get the handle. If he'd have caught that ball cleanly and got up, he would have been able to throw him out. Kind of jammed his wrist a little bit, but he gave the thumbs up sign to the dugout, so he's okay.
Infante will throw out Adam Dunn. So 2 down, and Abreu moves up to second base. Adam Dunn is 1 for 4.
You see him first ball swinging on Bueno because he's got a really good hook. He'll drop down with a sidearm and throw that. So they're hoping to get the fastball. Wakamatsu going to come out and bring in Crow now. Herrera, excuse me.
So Bueno gets the 2 left-hand batters. Abreu at second base, and Kelvin Herrera. He'll get Alexi Ramirez when we come back. Six today, but they've made the most of those 6 hits. They have a couple of home runs, which has resulted in 5 of the 6 runs, and lead by 3 as Kelvin Herrera is on to try and get the final out of the 7th inning. Kelvin pitched on Friday and pitched a perfect inning on Friday, and the first man he retired that night was Alexi Ramirez, who will come on with Abreu at second base and 2 down.
And the last guy he struck out in that inning, he did it with an overhand 12-6 curveball that we haven't seen from him. So we know he's got the plus fastball and the plus changeup. But that big breaking ball that he threw, that wasn't a little slider. That was a great hammer. Made sure to tell him that when we saw him about that. He just smiled and said, "Hey, I had a little bit more pull down on the ball. I had a little more of a break to it."
And a short hop. Nice play by Escobar. And this time Herrera needs just 1 pitch to get Ramirez. And the White Sox are scoreless in the 7th. And Escobar, with 2 of the best shortstops in the league playing in this game, gets Ramirez. Royals lead 6-3.
The White Sox, good to have some of the military here watching the Royals and White Sox play on the south side. Detroit, we just told you, they knock off Minnesota 4-3 as they will host the Royals over the next 4. Cleveland and Boston tied right now in the 9th. Toronto 5-2 on top of Baltimore. Texas and Seattle just underway. We go to Oakland for our Mazda game break, where the A's are out to an early lead on the Yankees thanks to Goddard, Kansas native Derek Norris, who is sporting quite the beard right now, and the fans out there loving that. In Oakland, 3-0 A's lead. And while scoreboard watching, I'll admit it's awfully early in the season. The Royals right now have an identical 35-32 record to the New York Yankees, and hey, it's always good to see the Yankees losing.
Last year, the Royals had a better record than the Yankees did, and they took 2 out of 3 from New York during the last homestand. Zach Putnam is the 4th White Sox pitcher. So he's on to face Salvador Perez, Lorenzo Cain, and Mike Moustakas. Sal is 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run. Outside for ball 1. Two and 0.
Back to the 3rd inning, our Ram drive of the game, and it was a beauty. Salvador, nice balance. Picked that ball up and golfed it over the wall. 3-run bomb. That's been a big difference maker so far. 7th home run of the game. Of the season for Perez, but another multi-home run game.
Eric Hosmer also has a home run today. That was a 2-run shot back in the 1st inning. And another walk. 5 allowed by White Sox pitchers, and now 270 on the year. That's by far the most in the American League. Make that 6 walks allowed. Rienzo had 4, Petrichka 1, and Putnam 1.
Speaking of big innings, look at those. A welcome sight. You want runs, and they're coming in bunches. Everyone's helping out. Doesn't always happen to get everybody hot at the same time. Ride it as long as you can. Continuing the focus of looking for pitches up in the zone.
Good swing, and he fouled a fastball back. Lorenzo 0 for 3 today. Last time up, lost a hit on a running play in right field by Viciedo. Royals scored all 6 of their runs off of Andre Rienzo. 5 of those runs in the first 3 innings. Two hops out to Ramirez, and Beckham. Quick turn, no double play.
Putnam, that's what he does. That's his specialty. He's got a good 2-seam sinking fastball. 88-92 slider and a split finger he'll use. Likes the ground balls. 2-seam sinkers, if they're executed properly, makes the hitter hit the top of the ball.
Lorenzo has stolen 6 this year without being thrown out. Mike Moustakas, in his first 3 plate appearances, has walked twice, scored a run, and grounded out to first base. Over the inside for strike one.
For such a great base stealing team like the Royals are, you'd have thought they'd at least ripped off a bag in the series. There has not been one stolen base the whole series. It's because they're busy. They don't have to run. They're hitting home runs, and they don't have to generate any offense because all those guys that are hot throughout the lineup.
Two stolen base lead over the Houston Astros. Of course, the Royals led the major leagues last year with 153 stolen bases. 0-2 on Moustakas. Kane runs, and the White Sox pitch out. And Kane still almost got in there. He thought he got his left hand. He signals safe to the Royals dugout, so Pedro Grifol runs to the phone. And Lorenzo isn't going anywhere. And Don Wakamatsu comes out of the dugout and then stopped and went back into the dugout. So now the fans are giving Lorenzo a bad time for standing around at second base.
It used to be if the ball beats you, umpires will call you out. But now the replays, and they try to, see the ball or see the play all the way. But I think they looked at it and said there was not conclusive evidence to overturn it.
That's the first time all year that Lorenzo has been caught stealing.
Close, because Ramirez tagged him to the left of his left hand before, after his hand got in there.
And poked into right field for a base hit. So now Mike Moustakas is working with some good fortune. Had a couple of blue pitch yesterday, and that time just reaching out over his front foot and kind of a one-handed single into right.
Barreled it. Ball jumps like that. You can hit homers that way too if you get up underneath them when you're way off balance. But the two walks that Moose has in today's game to go along with that single makes it 1 for 2. It'll help the batting average. I've seen guys hit homers, Ryan, reaching way out like that off balance and just catching it right. Not with a hard swing.
Ramirez goes to second. Nice play by Beckham, acting like a first baseman, going into a stretch and picking it out of the dirt. So good plays by the White Sox middle of the infield, and the Royals are scoreless in the 8th. The Ram 1500, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, and the first ever back-to-back champion. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. There is rain on the way. Still not for another 2.5 hours or so. Very slight chance for thunderstorms beginning about an hour ago, but that will increase into the evening hours. Hopefully the Royals are long gone by then, and things are pointing in that direction with a 3-run lead and Wade Davis taking over in the 8th inning.
Track record says so. 48 strikeouts and 29 in the 3rd. Wow. Good hard fastball, 4-seamer, cutter, mid-90s, overhand curve.
He'll get the lower 3rd. Viciedo, De Aza, and Nieto, unless Robin Ventura goes to his bench. 1 ball, 1 strike. Viciedo's 0 for 3.
That cutter's a beauty. He just threw that right by him. Little late break, always plays fits havoc for the hitter.
1-2. James Shields grinded through 6 innings, only allowed 3 runs. He gave up 10 hits. Opponents have left 15 runners on base in Shields' last 2 starts. So he hasn't been at his best as far as the numbers go, but typical James Shields, just when you think you've gotten to him and all set up for a big inning, men on base, he comes up with the right pitch at the right time. Bueno and Herrera combined to get the Royals through a scoreless 7th inning.
Shields is a horse. I mean, a guy you can rely on.
Still 2-2. Royals scored 2 in the 1st inning on Hosmer's home run. The White Sox got a run back in the bottom of the 1st. Salvador Perez hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd. The Royals added another run in the 4th on a Gerard Dyson RBI single. So at one point the Royals led 6-1. And then De Aza hit a 2-run double for the White Sox in the 4th to make it 6-3, and nobody has scored since. Got him. Hard slider down and away. 1 down in the 8th inning.
2 strikes on you. That hitter is looking for the fastball. You can't pick that up. It starts out right over the middle of the plate. And that was a little more than a cutter. He put his slider pitch on him there. And he has 4 pitches from his starting days, but he doesn't really use all of them. Doesn't need to.
Wade Davis going for his 20th consecutive scoreless inning. Fouled away by De Aza. He is 1 for 3 with that 2-run double back in the 4th inning. He has now hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games after a very slow start. Oh, and 2. This has been a great matchup for Davis, either as a starter or a reliever. Making his 16th appearance, and his ERA is well under 2. Escobar, look at that play. Turns all the way around and throws a strike to Hosmer.
Not that Davis needs any help, but it sure is nice whenever a hitter puts a good swing on his breaking ball like that. That's a nice swing by De Aza. Escobar, you don't teach this. Oh, his footwork is unbelievable. Look at the accurate throw from sidearm. Call the cops. He just ripped Diaz off. Oh, man, that's beautiful.
So 2 down to Adrian Nieto. One for 3 with an infield single back in the 6th inning. (2-0). Mentioned earlier in the game, Nieto went to high school with Eric Hosmer, and Joel told us that they've known each other since Little League. But Nieto was born in Cuba, and he and his family came to the United States when he was 8. So that's what, 5 players born in Cuba in this series? Jose Abreu, Alexei Ramirez, Diane Viciedo, Nieto. That's 4 for the White Sox, and Francisco Bueno for the Royals. Three and one. The guy that Davis wanted to walk, but Nieto is on with 2 down. One thing that James Shields did well today, which he always seems to do, and that is not give away free bases. He only walked 1 in 6 innings, and that's just the 2nd walk allowed by a Royals pitcher today. So there have been no gifts on the flip side, and it's good to see Dave Island back in the Royals dugout. He was away on Friday and Saturday because of a death in his family. The White Sox today have walked 6, and 2 of those came around to score. They've also hit a batter. So here we are in a 3-run game. Royals leading 6-3. And if you look at your scorecard on the Royals side, Butler in the 3rd, Gordon in the 3rd, and Moustakas in the 4th, reaching either by a walk or being hit by a pitch, and they all scored. 2-0. Now Sal going to go out and have a chat with Davis, who overthrew that last pitch. It has been a 3-game series where White Sox fans have had very little to cheer about. They are doing the wave now to try and stay engaged. And that's because the Royals have scored first in each of the 3 games of the series. And in the first 2 games, scoring first with big innings. And now 3 balls and no strikes on Eaton. Ball 4. So back-to-back walks with 2 outs. And now the potential tying run comes to the plate. Dave Island to go out and talk to Wade Davis. Davis has been here before, and it wasn't that long ago. Remember the game on Wednesday afternoon? The Royals beat the Indians 4-1. And the Indians in that inning had the bases loaded and nobody out. So they had the potential go-ahead run at the plate 3 different times, but Davis buckled down. He struck out Kipnis. He struck out Santana. He got Murphy to ground out as he was able to keep things together. And Dave Island out to the mound for a very short period of time, and now Davis will focus on Gordon Beckham. pretty good numbers there on the Royals side.
It is, but baseball's strange. Still got to execute your pitches here. Stay down, use the defense. Maybe Dave Island talked him into popping him up.
Well, he's missed with 6 straight, going back to Nieto. Ball one on Beckham. He doubled back in the 3rd inning, 1 for 4. And the Royals have pitched the White Sox very well today with runners in scoring position. We had Denny with us for a couple of innings, and in a game like this, Denny would say, and maybe he said it on radio today, the Royals on offense have made the most of the least, and the White Sox on offense have made the least of the most, at least to this point. Two and one. Got the call. 2-2. I don't know if Beckham is frustrated with himself or the umpire, but close enough.
He's going to strike all day. Paul Emmel's been consistent.
Full count, and now the runners will be going. Beckham has some power. He has 4 home runs this year, and we mentioned 2 years ago, his last healthy season, he had 16 home runs. And waiting on deck after him is Connor Gillespie. He has 0 home runs.
But he's dangerous with the bat. Throw a low strike here. Get out of the inning.
On the ground to Moustakas. And that's in time. So it wasn't easy, but that's 20 consecutive scoreless innings for Wade Davis as he works around the pair of 2-out walks. And we head to the 9th. The Royals still lead 6-3.
Miller line. Hosmer. He hit a ball a ton center field. 4th home run of the year. Yeah, celebration. Salvi says 4 with that nice drive. 3-run shot. That was his 7th. That makes 10 multi-home run games for the Royals in the season. 5 in the last 16 games. So Dale Swaim, he's got those guys swinging the bat and looking for pitches up that they can hit it out. Beautiful thing. Valuable home runs, especially today.
2 home runs. That means $30,000 has been contributed thanks to the Royals' efforts to the home run challenge. And before the game started, $1.8 million had been raised for prostate cancer research. Ronald Belisario, who is the White Sox closer at the moment, he comes on in the 9th with the White Sox down and gets the top of the order. And a strike to Gerard Dyson.
He's firm with his fastball, mid-90s. He'll cut it, slide it, and change it. Little change up.
Oh, 2. White Sox named Belisario their closer toward the end of May. They've had some significant injuries at the back end of their bullpen. Mentioned earlier Matt Lindstrom, when he tore up his ankle and had to have surgery trying to field a bunt in a series at Kauffman Stadium. And then also Nate Jones. He's out after having back surgery, so 2 important components at the back end, and Belisario gets the opportunity. And as a closer, he is 6 out of 8, but his ERA is almost 8. 2-2 on Dyson. Going to be a tough play for Beckham, and no play as the ball skips by his glove. Even if he's able to glove it, it would have been a tough chance to get Dyson. So that should be a base hit. And no word from the official score, so we will assume it is a base hit.
If he catches it, he's got no chance to get Dyson. That's got to be a knock. That's the only chance he had, was to just charge it, hope it landed in his glove.
Now we'll see if the Royals have Dyson on the move. Could also hit and run with Infante at the plate. Try and tack on here and take this beyond a save opportunity. Greg Holland might pitch no matter what, as he has not appeared in this series. Last time he pitched was on Wednesday afternoon in the final game of the Cleveland series. Grounded to Beckham. Out at second. Out at first. Double play. Second double play for the White Sox today. So 2 down to Eric Hosmer, who hit his 3rd home run in the last 7 games in the first inning. To straightaway center field off of Andre Rienzo, his 4th of the year. And Hosmer has 5 RBIs in this series.
How about another multi-hit game?
Fastball at 96. One and one. Pitch 96. With good movement, just ran away from Hosmer.
He's got some hair on it, that's for sure.
Belisario gets a strikeout. So leadoff single, double play strikeout. It is still a save situation. So Greg Holland is on for the bottom of the ninth with Gillespie, Abreu, and Dunn coming up. Royals are 3 outs away from a sweep and a 7-game winning streak. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. They're coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Dave Holtzman, and Morgan Kramer. Greg Holland with the 3-4-5 hitters coming up. Low to Connor Gillespie. Holland with 19 saves in 20 chances. The 19 saves lead the American League and are third in the major leagues. Only Francisco Rodriguez of the Brewers with 21 and Sergio Romo of the Giants with 20 have more than Greg Holland. Mentioned the last time Holland pitched was that Wednesday afternoon game against Cleveland, and in that game he had a 3-run lead. Escobar, he'll make the play on a pop-up from Gillespie. Well, we mentioned that rain was on the way, and it's just starting to rain now, and many of the fans that were hanging in there for mostly a frustrating day if you're a White Sox fan, they've said that's enough. They're going to head to the concourse and the parking lot. One strike on Abreu. It's not raining hard, but with the wind, that rain is coming in sideways. One and one. Holland already has 3 saves against the White Sox this year. And he's only given up 1 hit in 3 1/3 innings. Two and one. In Greg Holland's last 82 appearances, so you're back to over a year ago, he is 59 out of 61 in save opportunities. We're going to call that a swing.
Thank you.
59 out of 61 in save opportunities, and his ERA in his last 82 appearances is 0.89.
It's incredible. Sure is fun talking about the pitching of the Royals and then at the back end of the pen. Any kind of lead after the 7th inning is most of the time money. Abreu, he's just saying, I'm gonna try to swing on only his fastball if I can help it. He's taking the split finger and the slider.
Still 3-2. And now it begins to rain harder. Let's get this thing over with. Fouled away. And now almost everybody else who is not sitting in a section of the stadium where there's cover, they're out of here. Pretty soon, the Royals and the White Sox are going to be the only people in the stadium. And a walk with one out. So it only lasted for about 20 seconds. Some pretty heavy rain, and now back to a blowing light rain as Adam Dunn steps in against Holland. Dunn is 1 for 4. He's singled and scored back in the 4th inning. That was the last time anybody scored, when the White Sox got 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Adam Dunn takes a strike.
98 in great location.
Hard breaking ball or splitter. No balls, 2 strikes. Greg Holland is 17 out of 18 in save opportunities against the White Sox. Sal wanted that pitch up. That was too high to tempt Dunn. 1-2. Strike 3. Dunn strikes out for the 3rd time today and the 5th time in the series. And now the Royals are 1 out away from a sweep.
That's a tough pitch for Paul Emmel to call, any umpire, on that split finger that goes. It starts in the middle and then it goes away at the last minute. It catches some of the plate. It's not necessarily where the catcher ends up catching.
Ramirez singled and scored back in that 2-run 4th inning for the White Sox. And a fastball at 96 is in for a strike. Royals are 1 out away from a sweep. They are 1 out away from going 5-0 in this very important stretch of 9 games within the division, setting up 4 games with the Tigers tomorrow. And now they're 1 strike away.
Tremendous job of continuing the intensity that they have. The attack, the frenzy hitting. The way they've been able to go about offensively, scoring and supporting the pitching has been wonderful during this time.
Just got a piece of it. Still 0-2. James Shields gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Bueno and Herrera got the Royals through the 7th. Wade Davis with another scoreless inning in the 8th. And now Holland in the 9th. And a base hit into left center field. So now the potential tying run comes to the plate as Ramirez has his second hit of the game. Viciedo 0 for 4 today and 4 for his last 50. And if you're wondering about his matchups in the past against Holland, Viciedo's just 2 for 11 and Holland has struck him out 5 times. And that ball skips by Sal. So the tying run remains at the plate. The only thing that does there is it takes away a force at any base on a ground ball.
But his focus, Holland needs to remain the same. Get in the strike zone, try to keep it down. Because Viciedo, he's got power to all fields if he gets a pitch that's up that he could get the barrel on.
One and one. That might have been the best pitch that Viciedo's going to see. White Sox have had base runners all over the place. They have had runners in scoring position in 8 of 9 innings today, but they've only come through twice with a base hit. It has not been a stellar day on the mound for Royals pitching as far as the numbers go, but it has been a stellar day as far as pitching with men on base. Two and one. White Sox 2 runners in the first, 2 in the third, 5 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh, 2 in the eighth, 2 here in the ninth. Grounded to Escobar. Sets, throws. Royals sweep the White Sox. So they're 5-0 in the stretch of 9 games against the Central Division. They have won 7 straight. And they remain a game and a half back in the Central Division with 4 games beginning tomorrow night against the first place Tigers.
Stay hot, fellas. Keep the smiles going. And the bus keeps on moving.
Joel will have an interview from the field when we come.